Welcome to our latest series from the East Coast with the Snyder Fire Department. Snyder, New York is located in the town of Amherst in Erie County. Today on the Battalion, we start filming for the 2017 FDIC Experience and are hosted by the Snyder Fire Department in the city of Amherst. This beautiful hamlet is located in the state of New York and is part of the Buffalo-Niagara Falls metro area. Last year, the Snyder Fire Department celebrated their 100th year anniversary. First thing this morning, we ride with Lieutenant Michael Bastido around the Snyder Fire Department's first due area.
Residential split. Get the
lieutenant
here in the high school.
Tells us a little bit about Amherst, a little bit about the Snyder Fire Department, and some of his calls in the area.
We've had a couple in the last year. We actually had to cut somebody out. The compartment is pretty intact. The plastic gets all mangled, obviously, but all the time, they're out walking around. We did have a guy last Wednesday night went head-on into a guardrail, spun around, went the other way, actually dismounted his engine block, cracked the engine, and shattered the windshield and tore off the hood. And he was still out and walking around when we got there. He had some good facial injuries, but it's kind of impressive he did as well as he did. That's really where we get most concerned besides the fire is the traffic and the safety, and we've got a rescue out there, and just watching out for everybody with the cars, because people just don't pay attention, don't slow down, and don't have the appreciation for how dangerous environment that really is. We had one or two in the last year we've had to, but a lot of it, just it's a quick pop of the door. But the way the cars are built now, the passenger compartment stays intact. So most of the time it's just kind of secondary damage to the outside and front of the vehicle. And even the guy we had Wednesday night went head on into the dividing rail at the Jersey barrier, but dividing fence between the two lines and two sides of the thruway. Hit it head on, spun around, ended up on the other side facing the wrong way, and he dislodged his engine from the frame and cracked the engine block. The hood was torn completely off, windshield was shattered, and he was pretty banged up in the face, but he was out walking around when we got there, so it's lucky. But this is the hallmark of Amherst here. When you're coming in, the famous blue water tower. It's there. That's actually in our district, and funny enough, it was actually that water tower leaked into that entire neighborhood down there. So we had 3 feet of standing water in some places, a lot of water in basements. Past Chief and Commissioner Kenny actually lives over there. A bunch of our members do too. His house was fine, but we don't know how, but one of the mains broke, and that just dumped right into that area. One of our members is Dom Creamer, who is with Amherst Emergency Management. So that's his day job, and he's a volunteer with us as well. He's actually past lieutenant and captain too. He was working, and he responded with us, and he, along with 2 or 3 members from Eggertsville, made the grab, and they saved the victim from the fire. And it was a pretty good fire, but it was a pretty big deal. I mean, they had the town recognize him and recognize the work. That's good during the day. Mutual aid response, you usually don't get a victim trapped, but we did, and they had to save. And it's great having Dom around and guys during the day who can respond. And they had the same scenario here with Eggertsville. A lot of their guys can do it during the day because you don't know what you're going to get. It's nice, separate departments, but we all operate as one town mutual aid response team.
Mike makes his way to the neighboring Eggertsville Fire Department to drop off some paperwork. Back at the station, Lieutenant Bastido and Lieutenant Gigliazza chat about the upcoming Fire Department Instructors Conference and Expo. Mike attended last year. It was his first time, and he participated in some HOTS training evolutions as well as in the classroom.
And then I think of our volunteer firehouses and how on any given night somebody's coming home after working your 8, 9, 10, 11-hour day job, maybe having a quick dinner with the family, maybe helping children with homework, maybe coaching that little league game, and then it's off to the local firehouse for that that board meeting, that truck committee meeting, the training drill, to change a light bulb, to fix a broken pipe, whatever needs to be done. Not looking for any praise, not looking for any recognition, just doing it to take care of their little firehouse in their little neck of the woods.
We managed to sit down with Fire Chief Paul Gripner. Paul will be retiring in the coming days and share some insight with his career. He will not be attending FDIC for the first time in years.
I literally got bit by the fire bug. And you know, you hear about that, but it happened to me. And so I came home from that class and I went right to my local fire department and I put my application in. And then I was a little frustrated because I only took members twice a year. So I had to wait like 3 months and I was dying. And then that was 30-some years ago. And it was so exciting. Once I got my first helmet, I wore it like to bed. It was so exciting. And I think a lot of chiefs would tell you this. You think after 10 years as an assistant chief, you're ready for the job, but until you actually sit in the chair, if you will, to be chief of the department, everything goes through you, and you have the responsibility of everybody. And when you think about it, sometimes it can be very daunting. But like anything we do in life, you prepare for it, you train for it, and you rely on other people because you're one person. You can't know it all. You have to rely on your people. So I'm very lucky here in Snyder where I have a tremendous amount of great officers and great firefighters that I like to say make me look good. The first time I went to FDIC was 1994, and it was in Indianapolis at the time, and it was an amazing experience. And just to be around all these people that had the same interest that I did, the training that was out there, the hot training, and then the vendors. You walk through and it's just amazing. It's just incredible. Actually, 2016 is going to turn out to be my last year. I'm done being chief here in a very short period of time before Indianapolis, before FDIC. And we have 10 spots that we have for firefighters to go. And to be quite frank, I think our lieutenants should be attending because they're the future. They're the one. I've gotten tremendous training. And personally, I think that every chief officer, if they have any availability, any means, they should attend because the training that I was exposed to there was just, I think, just something that was necessary and just something that you should never, ignore.
When life and property are on the line, look to the standard-setting performance of Key Combat Ready Attack Hose, the industry's first choice for kink-resistant, low-friction loss, burn-through protection, and handling. Our combat-ready hose lines have high-flow capabilities and more GPMs. Designed for low-pressure, high-volume nozzles, safe to be used by one firefighter. Key Fire Hose. Are you combat ready? Learn more at keyhose.com. At Cosmos USA, our philosophy is simple. Draw on the input and experience of professional firefighters to develop the best fitting, highest quality, high performance personal protective footwear available. It's these materials, processes, and technologies that gives us the edge. Find out more about the most comfortable and best fitting boots in the world at cosmosusa.com. After speaking with the chief, we learned a little bit more about the history of the department from Commissioner Tom Merrill, the real historian for the department. Tom will be an instructor at FDIC again this year.
Hi, I'm Tom Merrill. I joined the Snyder Fire Department in 1982. Hard to believe that I'll be starting my 35th year of service later this year. I'm currently a fire commissioner. I served 15 years in the chief ranks, including 5 years as chief of department. And I love this department. And over the last 100 years, we have had an incredible group of people come through and lead us. It's a very rich history. It's a history we are really proud of, like all volunteer fire departments for that matter. We are so proud of our roots. We're so proud of where we've come and what we've accomplished here, and it's quite a story to tell. And over the last 100 years, we have had almost 1,000 Snyder residents come through and join our ranks. And in that time, some have contributed maybe a sentence or two to our story, some have written paragraphs, and others have contributed chapters of service and chapters of material for our great Snyder Fire Department story. We started out as the Snyder Hose Company with just a few members, and we've grown into this. As I've mentioned, over the last 100 years, we've had nearly 1,000 Snyder residents come forward and volunteer their time. And they all had one thing in common: to make Snyder the best fire department it could be. These are people of all different occupations, all different ages, all different backgrounds, coming together with one concept: to make the Snyder Fire Department the great fire department that it is today. The trophy case we have is filled with many Snyder stories, but one story you need to know about is the story of John Burgoyne. I'm our department historian, if you don't know that, and I was always intrigued as to whether we lost any of our members in either World War I or World War II. This is a story that was lost for 75 years. John Burgoyne was a member of this department for a few years in the late 1930s before leaving to join the United States Navy. He was killed in action in March of 1942. This department somehow lost track of that, never knew the story of John Burgoyne. It is quite a fascinating story. John Burgoyne was on the ship, the USS Etzel, that in the early days of World War II took on the Japanese fleet. USS Etzel was sunk, losing all hands, including John Burgoyne, who was the first Amherst resident killed in World War II.
A call comes in. Commissioner Tom Merrill with several other firefighters respond. They arrive on scene. The commissioner takes command.
I got it on dash. I'm okay. I got it on dash.
The vehicle accident occurred between a truck and a small SUV. The ambulance and its crew arrives on scene. FDIC rescue truck arrives on scene. The crew cleans up the debris and the fluids from the vehicle.
It's what we call a good hit.
The one car took a pretty good impact, but the way the cars are built today, the passengers were pretty well protected, the curtain airbag deployed, and it's all relatively minor injuries. So it looks a lot worse than it is, and they're treated and going to be on their way to the hospital.
SVI Trucks is a fourth-generation, family-owned, Colorado-based company that specializes in building custom emergency vehicles and has for over 50 years. SVI Trucks has produced over 1,000 emergency service vehicles that are saving lives every day all over the world. SVI Trucks has gained a rock-solid reputation for innovative designs and superior quality. To find out more, go to www.svitrucks.com. California Casualty has protected American heroes for 100 years. 4 generations deep, we are a company of heritage, reputation, and commitment. It's our policy to do more for people who give more. Guided by philosophy of trust, service, and respect, we are the provider firefighters turn to for their family's auto and home insurance needs. We focus on you so you can focus on them. We're not in insurance for the business. We're here to keep a promise to protect. Find out more about how we can protect you and your family at calcast.com. Snow begins to fall on Amherst. It's Wednesday night. The volunteers are arriving for tonight's training. They train every Wednesday night. The volunteers gather in the conference room. Lieutenant Bastido is the officer in charge of tonight's training. Tonight, they will work on fast rescue and PPE removal.
So one of the things we did at FDIC, the hot pass, we did conventional forcible entry. So we use a door like this.
One of the skills Lieutenant Bastido learned more about at FDIC was forcible entry. The lieutenant works with firefighter Michelle Happenman on what he learned.
Try and space the door. And you're not going to go at the handle because that's where you're going to have your most resistance. So you're going to get some initial gap there, and so you're trying to get a little bit of a gap in the purchase point. And then if you go high here, take this, work it down, and work your way down here to give an angle. So now you can get in there with the fork of the Halligan. So we come in here, I'm going to position it, and then I'll give you the command to hit. And then if I switch, I know we do it here, but one thing I talked about was doing drive. So once you get hit, a couple hits in, you good position, then you're going to go and give the command drive. You're going to keep hitting, so I don't have to say hit every time until I yell stop. Okay? Okay, so hit, 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 okay, stop, stop. I'm going to turn, I got a position here, and this one gave pretty easily. Okay, so do hit, 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 and that one popped through. And then once you pop it, control the door and pull it back, because once it's open, you're ventilating the door. You're ventilating the fire through the door. So you want to control that door, bring it back until your team's ready to go in, or you should have a nozzle here ready to go too. And then the other thing I talked about was positioning. So if we're, reset the door real quick. Yeah, let's go a little. So then one thing we worked on was the positioning too. So if I'm starting off here and then we just switch, I may turn and then go high and low. So I may, let's see, I'll space it. Okay, so I've got a gap there. I'm going to position, and then if I can't get in, I may switch sides and have you drive here. But once you're in, you can switch this way. So I'll turn sides because I may have a better angle here, and then you can drive from that angle as long as I've got my hand protected. Okay, so hit, 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 Drive. Good. Good. And then again, turn and control. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. We did some other stuff. We talked about using a plate pull to get a little more leverage on there, especially for a heavy commercial door. That's it.
Excellent.
Questions?
Mike.
Try the second route with the 2-to-1 system. With this one, when you're going up, because we're not on belay, make sure you're careful with going up the ladder. When you transition in, take your time going through. We kind of go through the motions, we're not going for speed. Especially if you got the air pack on, watch your center of gravity. When you're coming down.
Mike is the training officer for this evolution with the ladder, where the goal will be to gain access to the location of the downed firefighter, bind them with straps, and secure the firefighter with ropes and get them quickly and safely removed from the scene and down the ladder.
Is riding on the bed of the ladder between the two rails, and then your arms are actually, you're cradling them, so as you're holding the rails coming down, their weight is distributed between your arms and the rails, so they're just sliding down. What you've got to watch is if they're really tall or really big, if their center of gravity isn't quite centered, either the ladder's going to want to go one way or they're going to go off. All right. So you go, and then who else is going in?
FDIC is around the corner. 8 members from Snyder will be in attendance this year, and they are all here for tonight's training.
We're pushing the person out the window and someone else is coming up to get them.
What's that? Yeah, I was going to have you go up the ladder, though. It's a hasty harness, just using a 35-foot piece of webbing to attach a rescue harness to a downed firefighter or a downed victim. If you don't have an SCBA pack as an option, you can use this. Or if you're going into like a cathedral ceiling window and you don't know that, you gotta make sure you got something there. So now I see he's got, this guy's a little lighter than an actual person, but he's positioning him here.
This guy's kind of heavy.
Well, yeah, it's not small.
Oh.
See, now he's got.
Maybe it's 165.
If you're going to put it back up, that's fine. Yeah, I take it down, Chief. It's probably more awkward, and then we'll drag him back up. So he's sliding it down the rail, so you can see the feet hang off there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the trick. Now, with a firefighter, they have an air pack on, so they'll have a little more weight on this end. Thanks, Chief.
Head injury.
All right, so let them come down.
If he's got an air pack on, you're going to come out the window with him and you're leaving the air pack on. If you get him on the ladder, you got to either get him on his stomach
right.
or on his side. You can't be on his back.
Yeah.
Fort Geary Fire Trucks manufactures the toughest emergency vehicles in the industry with a full-frame aluminum extruded body. We utilize 5083 saltwater marine-grade aluminum and with a large engineering staff to meet your custom needs.
This company has gone above and beyond with engineering and building for us some of the strange equipment that we request. So in 1999, we started the wheels rolling with our very first Fort Geary fire truck custom pumper, and we have not looked back since.
This is our Fort Geary Rescue. We took delivery of this in July 2014. Getting everybody orientated on it. It's been pressed into service quite a bit. It's got a command module built into the cab. We can run our command post from there. It's got a 25,000 watt generator. We can light up the night, all LED. No incandescent bulbs on this truck at all. I believe there's only 4 on the entire truck. Totally remote control with our control panel, and we've used this quite a bit at both structure fires and incidents on the highways. On this truck, we spec a windsock. The helicopter pilots can see this from a long way as they're coming in on making their final approach. They don't have to worry as much from the landing zone officer on the ground to give them their weather conditions.
Visit our website for more info at www.fgft.com. Forged from fire, engineered for the extreme.
AHIT has been around since 1993. We've been training home inspectors for 22 years. We trained roughly over 40,000 home inspectors in that time frame. We really are focusing on training individuals to go out, perform a thorough home inspection, create a successful home inspection company, and help people buying homes. We're in 70 locations across the United States and Canada. We have roughly almost 200 live training courses scheduled for 2015. We have roughly 15 technical trainers on staff. There is a little bit of a classroom environment. We're going over the inspection report. We're filling the report out. We go over a simulation that we just created. We go over, again, some of the theory, almost like a crash course from materials that were taken from the books. But then we go out in the field. A lot of our time is spent in the field at the house. We'll spend 3-4 hours at a property, inspecting the house from the outside and finishing up in a basement or a crawl space.
Our instructor, Chris, is very knowledgeable. He's been doing it a long time. I think the fact that we're actually doing inspections live is the whole point of the class, because anybody can do something online. And granted, you do learn online, however, the actual practical doing it is the best part of it.
Chris has been so personable. He put his number up on the board for us, so I put that in my phone instantly. And so far he's been awesome answering questions, and I have no doubt that when we finish this class, if we gave him a call, he would be happy to answer our questions. He says he hears from prior students all the time with, they're at a home inspection and they're stumped on something. They go, "Hey Chris, what do you think about this?" He's like, he'll give them an answer, he'll get back to them, and he's just kind of that stepping stone for them to kind of ease into their own business.
We're a company that's growing at a very, very, very fast pace. AHIT's going to be a process that we're going to use to take our company to the next level. We want to be able to have our employees come out and get future training so that they can move on and help us to succeed in the future.
I would definitely recommend AHIT. I think it's a phenomenal way to learn the industry, figure out if it's for you, and get the most knowledge out there possible to become a good inspector. Because obviously your name and your credentials are on the line, and AHIT's just going to help you move that along.
And pull her out.
The last evolution of the evening, we move to the PPE removal.
Yep.
Pull it this way, they just pull it back that way.
Exactly.
You get the coat back out of the way.
Because if you don't, you're going to trip on it and you're going to hit her with it. All right, lay down the same way. Perfect. All right. Roll the victim over. Nope. Put right in there.
This is where a firefighter's protective
Now
gear is
roll the victim
removed
back onto the-
in the event
there you
that they are
go.
injured and need
Now
medical
is there any weight on
attention.
you, Trish? No, not too much. Take the helmet off first. Now remember, there's a buckle right there. Now you got a lot more room to work, right? Purge the regulator, give her more air. Shoulder straps. Loosen the shoulder straps. Nexus gloves.
Are we ready for?
All right.
You gotta grab the coat.
All right, take the mask off. You're the head person, grab the pack and the coat. There you go. All right. All right, now stop. Now grab her by the hands here, because she's getting stuck by the jacket.
Okay.
Now pull. A little bit easier? Yeah. All right. Should pull the shoulder straps off. Perfect. You got the boots off? Good. All right. Both of you grab the pant leg. Trish, stand up.
And now, oh, yep. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Hang on. Probably because of this. This is too tight.
Is the harness buckled? It's unbuckled.
It's unbuckled, it's catching. You almost need to pull, you almost need to pull straight down.
Yeah. So Trish should be pulling. You guys stay. So we'll both grab her underneath one armpit. Okay, you ready? That way we're not pulling our arms out of the socket so much.
I'm good. I'm good. I go.
Ready?
I go.
Okay, do you think? 2, 3.
You're unconscious.
This shimmy helps.
That's not so easy.
The pants are a little harder.
Yeah. Especially depending on what you're wearing underneath.
Yeah.
If she had gym shorts on, it would be easy.
Because of the harness being just tight enough, it's catching on the belt.
It could be. Some people's bunker pants are a lot looser than others.
Right.
Mine are kind of snug.
Yeah. Mine are kind of snug.
I didn't think you'd get caught.
But you can see it. You get out of the pants just as easy. A little bit more effort, with the harnesses, but they do come off.
We can take the truck outside and I can raise up the command light so we can see how that sets up and how it illuminates the vision at nighttime. So when we're out at a call, whether it's extrication, fire, whatever it might be, we get the lighting that we need so we can see what's going on.
He pulls it outside to show us the light system that lights up the scene, manufactured by Command Light. Commissioner Bugby will be checking out the new SVIs at FDIC. This department is always checking out new gear and technology. With training completed, the Chief is issuing Cosmos Vulcan boots that are very well made, said to be flexible and both fire and chemical resistant.
Maybe give them a try. So we'll wear them for a while. Just let them know. I know you're happy with your current boots.
Yep.
But obviously we're always looking. I mean, one thing I've learned in all these years is boots and gloves. We're always changing over. So.
Yep.
Okay, here you go, sir. Let me close that up there, and let me, like I say, they're brand new, as you can tell. So.
Both Lieutenants Cristino and Gugliazzo.
Here you go, sir. All right, sir. Well, just take those with you, put them in your bunkers, and we'll talk.
All PPE gear is stowed in perfect order and ready to go. This department is all about efficiency. Lieutenant Bastido has his Cosmos boots ready for testing on the next call.